I really think I could have read it without this box, but maybe not. I've prepared some things I wanted to say, but I've been thinking about things that matter more than what I've already prepared. You know, often at this wonderful experience, when we meet all of you, people will say really nice things to me, like they look forward to hearing me speak, and it's an important part of the conference. I wanted to say tonight, I wanted to tell you honestly, from the depths of my heart, it's one of my favorite parts of the conference too, because I love to look into your faces and have the opportunity to, from the bottom of my heart, tell you how grateful we are and how truly, deeply we feel an affection for each of you. There is, as many mentioned, a feeling coming here, and we enjoy it maybe as much or more than anyone. So, thank you, that's my ad lib. I was transfixed yesterday, as many of you, to listen to Robert O'Neill speaking. It was an interesting coincidence to me because recently I've been immersed in reading other stories of the aftermath of 9/11. There's a blockbuster musical called Come From Away, and it's been playing on Broadway now for standing room audience for 2 years, winning awards, and it still packs a full house every performance. Maybe some of you've seen it. The title of the show comes from an awkward little phrase in the vernacular of Newfoundlanders that just means a visitor to their little island. If a person doesn't live on the rock, that person is come from away. The show tells the true story of what transpired there in the week following the September 11 attacks. As the planes crashed into the Trade Center towers, the airspace over the United States was immediately closed, and any planes in the air were rerouted to land in the nearest place possible or return to their place of departure. 38 airplanes intended to land in New York City were ordered to land in the small town of Gander in the Central Highlands in the province of Newfoundland, Canada. Gander was a town of not quite 10,000 people, and those 38 planes deposited almost 7,000 bewildered, scared, unhappy people unexpectedly into their town. For the better part of the following week, nearly every man, woman, and child in Gander stopped what they were doing so they could help. They placed their lives on hold for a group of strangers and asked nothing in return. They affirmed the basic goodness of man at a time when it would have been really easy to doubt that such goodness existed. Delightful and inspiring stories of kindness, generosity, selflessness, and intuitive largesse are almost endless about this story. When the population of their town was almost doubled, they found ways to gather in all these strangers to welcome, to soothe, to comfort them. They called these strangers the plain people, and they invited them into their homes and offered them clothes from their closets, food from their cupboards, blankets and beds, and friendship. Now the stories are told in books and articles, and many are celebrated in dancing and song in this great show, Come From Away. People keep buying and reading the books, and people keep standing in line to buy tickets and see the show, because it bathes the audience in the heartwarming assurance that kind-hearted people have power to bless each other. All people hunger to be wrapped in the blanket of kindness. It warms our spirits to see it, hear about it, or receive it ourselves. Kindness is a lovely force, but it can only be powered by people. For all our magical gadgets, there is no appliance, no instrument, no apparatus, or gadget that has the power to extend kindness to another human being. That power is vested only in people. The good people of Gander were thrust into history, and they responded with warmth and remarkable generosity. When you think about it, 7,000 hungry, frightened people would have been hard to ignore. The people of Newfoundland, of Gander, and the surrounding towns are called Newfies, and they're reputed to be by nature an exceptionally warm and friendly folk. They formed at the pivotal moment a grand humanitarian movement to minister as they extended personal power in an effort to heal. People who write of it often ask, would it have been the same if 7,000 people had been dumped unceremoniously in some other town? Our town, for example? If you're part of a movement, it's hard to resist. But what if you're standing alone? That's when the choice to be generous and kind and selfless and sacrificing of time or means or effort become really personal. That's harder. If you're the only one who notices a need, there's more of a decision to be made. If it's up to you to interrupt what you're doing to respond, you have to choose. A distraction from one's own vital busyness can be an imposition. Then it's an easy temptation to miss the moment and lose the privilege to rescue. And there are so many quiet, undramatic needs for rescue. Fortunately, that's the purpose of what we do. It's our business to rescue people in distress. The selling, the collections, the long days, the stressful nights, the anxieties, the kindly tolerating the difficult, all those things are the price we pay to buy the privilege to heal. Last night we had a few minutes with Tim Woodruff. We talked about his years in the business and his remarkable achievements, and he said as he left us with a quiet but heartfelt passion, I love it. I love it. I could feel in his spirit that his joy came from much more than the exhilaration of winning. Over all his years, he's had the privilege to embrace a great many people who've suffered loss. It's been his happy responsibility to help to make those people whole. Those are the high moments, the satisfying instances. Not everyone's privileged to deliver the check, but whatever the task, the ultimate aim of our business is to lessen the trauma, soften the sense of hopelessness. We do that with much more than money. We do it with sincere caring, with the warmth of genuine desire to comfort and alleviate pain. Those moments arise in the lives of all of us every day. If we look around, we will know intuitively the downcast, the lonely. The prompting will always come. The decision whether to investigate the distress hangs there, waiting, needling our consciousness. Easy to shut down and move on if we try. Harder to forget our own immediate aim and follow up. We are almost always glad when we extend ourselves beyond ourselves. We almost always wish we had when we fail. I cannot count how many times in my life I've received the prompting to reach out, and I've neglected it or waited too long. Regret is real and lasting. By your natures, you are a group of gregarious people. If you aren't by your nature, this business has forced you to become good at reaching out, forming friendships, sensing what other people need. It's a gift to be valued and a gift to be used for the greater good. We aren't powerful enough by ourselves to change the world. The fractious feelings that pop up in our news notes on our phones and spew upon us when we turn on the television are not likely to moderate. but we can impact our own spheres as we choose to overcome any reticence to reach out, to spend our emotional capital to heal the hearts of those who need us, and in the process, we will greatly heal our own. May you rejoice in the unique and wonderful aspects of doing what you do. May each and all of you be blessed with all the good things. We've all come from away. Return with safety and peace. Thank you.
Let me just mention, you can see how remarkable my wife and companion and partner is. She's wonderful. And as a result, I love her. She's loved by her sons. She's loved by so many, many people. Thank you for that message, and thank you very much. Many of you ask me how it feels to experience what this business has become. I always stammer a little because it is hard to describe what I feel. When I walk into the room and see you gathered here, I am filled with astonished wonder. I am filled with gratitude. I am filled with admiration for all of you and what you have accomplished. There are elements of disbelief. How can we have been so blessed? I am so pleased to greet so many company executives and representatives. I deeply appreciate your support. You certainly add to the effectiveness of our conference. On Tuesday, Ann and I drove down with Mark and Jana. We came in the back way through Logandale, Overton, Echo Beach, Stewart's Point, the Valley of Fire, across all the harshness of the Nevada desert. My thoughts were forced backward to the days that I drove these roads, visiting the homes and the businesses of clients who were also my friends, who drove past the farms of the Yamashitas, who are successful truck farmers. I felt a flood of warmth remembering their loyalty, their gentleness, their kindness, how hard they worked to make that farm flourish. It looked worn out on Tuesday, and not in the condition that the Yamashitas would have kept it. But my thought pattern extended further back, beyond my own working days. I thought of the struggles of my grandparents as they strove to tame the desert, to bring water from the river onto the land, to make possible their very survival. It was a battle that was never won. My parents made the same kind of sacrifices with tools only a little better than my grandparents. The desert didn't really yield to several generations. I walked around a little last evening and felt again a sense of disbelief. All this green, all this water. It is hard to fathom all that has gone into making such a miracle. It has taken generations of dedicated struggle and sacrifice. There have been myriad disappointments, myriad instances of failure, and beginning again and again and again. I have a deep sense of reverence for those people, for their tenacity, their dedication, their strength of character. I have experienced enough to have some understanding of their lives and the remarkable people they became because of what they patiently endured. If I think on it, it makes my trials seem small. It obligates me to do better. We all have a history. We all have reasons to look backward to what has gone before us to bring us to our fortunate position. Our great obligation is gratitude. Gratitude is a requisite element of character. Show me a man or a woman who has failed to develop a grateful heart, and I will show you a shallow man or woman with little depth. Gratitude is deliberate, a deliberate choice. I don't believe it comes to us naturally. I believe it takes a conscious focus, an intentional direction of thought, a purposeful pondering to refine ourselves with thankfulness. Life moves too fast and sometimes too easily. It's easy to be self-centered and exult in our own accomplishments. So from my reminiscences of these past days, I leave you with this wisdom. Let us rejoice in our good fortune, but let our rejoicing be tempered with an understanding that we owe great gratitude for those who have gone before, and certainly to the powers of heaven that have most certainly blessed us bountifully. I leave you with my very deep and real affection, and with my gratitude for the good and generous people that you are. Thank you, and know that we do love and appreciate you as we gather together in conferences such as this. Thank you.